Now, we'll just touch upon few of the jargon that is used in the metaverse. And yeah, so it might seem like mumbo jumbo on when you first hear all these words that are like L1, L2, governance, utility, what is ERC20, what are SPL tokens. So we'll go with these basics of these tokens. So when you refer to L1s, that's like Ethereum, right? Ethereum is your L1. That is, L refers to the layer. That is the first layer of the blockchain. And so the issue with L1s is that there's this thing called the blockchain trilemma. So you can have two of three things. So for a network to be successful, there are three major things. One is security, one is decentralization, and the last is scalability. Scalability refers to speed. If more and more people come onto the chain, can the network handle that? So now the issue with Ethereum is that it is very well decentralized and it is secure, but it is very expensive and it is very, very slow. For example, you can do like it takes a few seconds, like 30 seconds for a transaction to go through. For reference, like Visa and other these credit card transactions, there's like tens of thousands of transactions that happen on that network every second. So if you're looking at bringing about change and if you want the network to replace these traditional organizations, you need speed, right? So that is where these L2 comes in. Now L2 is like a second layer. So something like a Polygon, which is built in India. The founders of these were Indian, and that is basically designed to create more speed with Ethereum. So the main network is Ethereum, and there are other stuff built on top of Ethereum, which is like Polygon. The Matic is the token for that, and that's designed to make Ethereum faster. Now, there's this other thing called ERC20. What is ERC20? It's just basically a very fancy way to say, don't mess up the code. We'll provide a template. So when this smart contracts were introduced, there were these bunch of programmers who are writing code on top of that, who are just creating these applications. But the issue was is that everyone is writing in different ways, in different formats, and there's no structure to that. Now, if you're thinking like when I introduced the concept of money Legos, so that's like if you're trying to communicate with two programs, one is speaking in English and the other is speaking in some Swahili or something. So you need a structure so that the programs can interact with each other. There has to be interoperability. So for that, this ERC20 standard was introduced, where basically they said, okay, this is the structure you follow. This is your headline, this is your title, this is whatever. And that is how you write the code. So now every single program that is built on top of the Ethereum network uses this standard called the ERC20. That's why we call them ERC22. All of your other Aave, Compound, and all of these use the ERC20 standard. Now, governance. Now, there is a very big trend that is following called the DAO, which is a decentralized autonomous organization, where holding a certain amount of token gives you access to voting power. So, true decentralization actually comes in when everyone is involved in the decision making process. And these governance tokens are basically a way to do that. Now, the value of these tokens comes from the voting rights. So if a program or an application is very successful, you want to be a part of deciding how the application is going to go forward, what changes are going to come, what are the rates that are going to affect it, what are the numbers, and you can be a part of that decision making process. So that is where the governance tokens come in, where as the program increases in popularity, you want to be a part of that governance. You want to be a part of shaping how that program goes ahead. And that's how these tokens gain value. Now, there's a multiple number of DAOs called Maker, Compound, and each of these financial products or protocols that are built are coming up with their own token. Where if you hold these tokens, you can decide that okay, this is where the product is going to go in the future, and that's how the value comes for these tokens. So that is very important when you are analyzing token to understand why is the token required, what is the utility for the token. And then there's this other sector which is known as the utility tokens. So let's take the example of say Uber. Okay, so we all use Uber cabs, and we want to, like, there's a very big community around the number of people. It's basically almost encompasses the entire world. So basically, if Uber decides, okay, from tomorrow I need if you want to use Uber, you need to hold a certain amount of Uber tokens, and then when you use the cab, you exchange those tokens for the ride or for the service that they are providing. So if Uber grows in value, basically, if the service that Uber is providing is valuable and more people want that, that's when the price of the Uber coin will go up. that is when people will decide, okay, I like the service, I want to use it, I need to hold more of this so that I can take part in these tokens.